The doctor is in. I'm Dr. Freddie Gomez, and this is Med Talk, Health Talk. Our bucket list awaits us this summer. And after all, going on a road trip or an escapade away from work or home is a summer must-have. But too much summer heat can cause harm, and substances like allergens may limit us from achieving our bucket list. In the Philippines, one of the common forms of allergies is eczema or atopic dermatitis. And this is characterized by an itchy red rash on the skin. So how can we determine if we are susceptible to these allergens? And do changes in weather make one prone to having allergic symptoms? And to help us answer these questions, we have in the program Dr. Michelle Joy De Vera. She specializes in allergy and immunology at the Medical City. Welcome to the program, Doctor.
Hi, Freddie. Thank you for having me.
So it is definitely that time of the year where everyone is out and about. And accompanying that is a lot of people may experience certain symptoms with themselves that they're not quite really sure about. And it may be because of things that come out during the summer. So let's start off first on what exactly is an allergy.
Well, an allergy is a problem with your immune system. It's not because it's weak, it's because it's intolerant. Parang overacting.
Okay.
So it makes an immune response, your body makes an immune response to things that you're allergic to, even though they're not technically harmful. So it's a reaction to things that you're sensitive to.
Right.
So if you're sensitive to airborne allergens or food, for instance, or things that get in contact with your skin, then you're going to experience symptoms that are specific for those things.
Okay. Now you mentioned about symptoms. Could you name some of the more common symptoms that people might have if they are allergic or intolerant to a substance?
Depends on where the organ is.
Okay.
So you can have allergic rhinitis, and so your symptoms will be runny nose, nasal congestion, that post-nasal drip, itchy eyes, itchy nose. You can have asthma, where there's difficulty of breathing, shortness of breath. And then you can have eczema or atopic dermatitis, where it's itchy skin, dry skin, a rash, those kinds of things.
Now, are these symptoms that you mentioned very evident, or can they range from being really mild to a very severe case?
You're correct. There's a spectrum of it. Some people have very mild symptoms.
That they hardly notice it.
Correct, and they don't treat it. Some people have very severe symptoms that it actually affects their quality of life.
Right.
And some people have really more seasonal type of allergies, like the summer things that you're talking about.
Right.
And some people have persistent allergies, like that's year-round.
Okay, so let's focus a little bit more on, since it's the summer season, let's talk about what affects or what gives people those symptoms of an allergy during the summer. Are there anything else that is really common during the summertime?
It's really more pollen. Dust mites are a little bit more persistent because it's always there.
Okay.
But for summer, because it's summer and it's nice and sunny and windy, it's really pollen that we're really worried about. So that's grasses, weeds, and tree pollen.
Can the actual heat or during this season, or can temperature trigger these symptoms that you mentioned in a person?
Yes. Weather on its own is not an allergen, but it can be a trigger, barometric pressure. But the hotter it is, the more there are pollens. They pollinate more. And so the more pollens and the more allergic a person is, and the more symptoms he's going to get. Okay.
And then with my follow-up question to that is, what kind of tests are there to really determine if a person has symptoms, or if ever they are really allergic to some symptoms?
There's two ways of testing. One is a skin test, which is a test. It's a superficial scratch on your skin. And then there's also another test. It's a blood test. Both of them can test specifically what a person is allergic to. And then after that, if you can avoid it, like all allergies, that would be great. If you can't avoid it, then there are certain medications and allergy immunotherapy or allergy shots that people can get.
What is the best way that people can manage these allergies?
Well, there's no cure for allergies. We cannot change it genetically, and we cannot change the world.
Right.
And so cure is not there. But the best thing we can do is control your symptoms. So yes, avoidance is key if you can avoid certain things. Medication, depending on the symptoms that you have. If it's allergic rhinitis, there are certain medications for that, and your doctor can help you with that. And then lastly, there's allergy immunotherapy. In a sense, it makes you immune, it desensitizes you to whatever it is that you're allergic to.
Okay. And I guess an important question as well is a lot of people might be wondering, is it okay to self-medicate?
Well, in a sense, if you talk to your doctor and you come up with an action plan, then yes, you are empowered. Your doctor will empower you to treat yourself when you have symptoms.
Very good advice. Do you have a further message for our audience out there, especially now during the summer season, about how to be careful with allergens?
Well, allergies are very common. As Freddie has said, about 20% of our population can be allergic. Most things are not fatal. A lot of allergic diseases are very serious and it can affect your quality of life. So if you have symptoms of allergies, see your doctor, talk to them about it, find out what you're allergic to, and figure out how to manage it so that you can live a nice allergy-free summer for the rest of the season.
And there you go. Very sound advice and very well said, Dr. De Vera. And I'd like to thank you for joining us and sharing your expertise once again for trying to prevent any sort of heavy symptoms of the allergy, especially during this season.
Thank you very much.
And this April, we also celebrate the World Immunization Week. But the recent Dengvaxia controversy hounds the country's immunization program. What is the government doing, and what is our role as citizens, especially in light of the outbreak of measles? Stay tuned for the answers only here on Med Talk Health Talk, only on CNN Philippines. According to studies, deaths among children under the age of 5 can be prevented by routine vaccination. But recently, the government's immunization program was challenged by the Dengvaxia controversy. This allegedly caused parents to fear the measles vaccine for their babies and children. To tell us more about the government's program concerning vaccination, we have Health Undersecretary Dr. Mirna Cabutahe. Welcome to the program, Yusek. Ngayon, mainit pa rin na usap-usapan ang tungkol sa vaccination saka immunizations. Kaya napaka-importante na nandito kayo para mabigyan liwanag ang ating mga mamamayan. Ngayon, Yusek, ano ba ang mga diseases na nape-prevent ng vaccine saka immunization?
Maraming mga sakit na napiprevent ng bakuna. Unang-una, yung ating tinatawag na very common ngayon, yung ating measles or tigdas. Yung rubella o yung German measles, tetanus, polio. Pag nabakunahan ng BCG ang bata, ang napiprevent natin yung severe TB, mga TB meningitis, mga TB sa ibang lugar. Tapos sa pneumonia at saka hepatitis B, diphtheria.
Ngayon, Yusek, how do vaccines and immunization help protect, lalong-lalo na yung mga bata?
Dalawang mechanism yan. Unang-una, meron tayong tinatawag na live attenuated. Pag sa vaccination, nag-i-introduce tayo ng weakened form, pinahinang klase ng ating bacteria o virus. Kunwari sa measles, ang binibigay natin ay mismong yung virus, pero mahina siya. Pag binigay sa bata, it makes the child make antibodies. Ito yung soldiers ng body without causing the disease. Ang other mechanism, by forming toxoid, yun yung mga byproduct. Hindi lang yung mismong mikrobyo o germs ang nagkakos ng disease. Meron silang byproduct. Kunwari ang tetanus, yung Clostridium tetani ang mikrobyo. Hindi yung mismong mikrobyo ang nagkakos ng disease. It's the byproduct na yung toxoid niya, tapos yung mga tumitigas. Yun ang isang mechanism. But it's the same way, they are weakened form of the byproduct or the disease na empowers the body to make antibodies. Ito yung mga improved immunity, antibodies, defenses ng bata, lalong-lalo na ng bata. From certain ages, may mga dapat ibibigay tayong mga bakuna. So pag panganak, pinaka-importante yung birth dose, no? So ang birth dose ng BCG, tapos birth dose ng hepatitis B. May mga pag-aaral na nagpapakitang pag nabigay mo ng hepatitis B at birth, it will prevent liver cancer in in the future. Kung hindi na ibigay sa health center o sa hospital, yung kanilang BCG at saka DPT, pwede namang pagkatapos ng panganak, they can go back anytime, sana before the child reaches 1 year old. Tapos after 6 weeks, magkakaroon ka na ng laban sa diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, polio, pinagsasabay-sabay na yan. Nasa pentavalent, tapos yung laban sa pneumonia. Tapos babalik at 9 months yung bata for measles for the first dose, tapos ang second dose ng measles niya, 12 to 14 months.
Ngayon, Yusek, ang importanteng tanong, safe ba ang mga vaccines na ito?
All the vaccines that we mentioned are safe. They have been used all over the world for the longest time. And then, yung mga ginagamit nating vaccine are pre-qualified. Bago natin bilhin, meron tayong proseso kung saan na-ensure na yung mga binibili nating vaccine ay tinitignan ng World Health Organization kung good manufacturing practices, etc. And then, pagdating dito sa Pilipinas, ina-enforce na yung ating bagong law ng FDA, Food and Drug Administration Law, na kailangan may Certificate of Product Registration. Also, the other mechanism, meron tayong tinatawag na National Immunization Committee ng DOH. It also now studies ano ba yung mga i-introduce na vaccine, kailan sila i-introduce. So, hindi ho basta-basta ang out of the air, meron tayong schedule, meron tayong ibibigay. Pinag-aaralan ho itong mabuti.
Okay. Now, marami din ang gustong makaalam. Meron ko bang mga side effects ang mga vaccines kapag binigay?
Yes, sinasabi naman yan sa mga nanay, ang pinaka-common, soreness sa ating injection site. Sinasabi din na may konting lagnat kasi may foreign body na linagay sa katawan ng bata. But the health worker advises the mother na kung may iba pang nararamdaman, masyadong mataas yung fever o nagtatain, nagsusuka, dapat ibalik sa health center.
Okay, but all of these side effects, mas maganda yung benepisyo na may bibigay ng vaccine.
Definitely, because
kumpara sa
these
side effects
are
niyan.
transient.
Oo.
Kesa naman pag nagka-measles, nagka-tetanus, pwede pang ikamatay ng bata.
Ngayon, at the end of April or last week of April, ang ating World Immunization Week, meron bang mga programa ang DOH in line with this?
Yes, the World Immunization Week carries the theme Protected Together, #vaccines work. Bakit protected together? Kasi dapat iniisip ng nanay, hindi lang yung anak niya ang naproprotectionan. When we have herd immunity, kung marami sa community, 95% are immunized for a certain illness, especially measles and some other diseases, even polio, hindi magi-spread sa community. So, ang mga naka-in-store na ating mga activities for World Immunization Day, pag-recognize sa mga vaccine heroes, yung mga nagbibigay ng bakuna, para mabakunahan, hanapin yung mga 6 to 59 months na hindi nabakunahan at bakunahan sila. During this time, we will recognize them sa mga efforts ng ating mga health workers.
Okay, that's a very nice program to have. Do you have a message para sa ating mga kababayan?
Yes, para sa bakuna to work, unang-una, kailangan natin ang cooperation ng mga nanay, ng mga caregivers. Dapat alamin at dalhin sa mga health center. At sabihin yung kanilang magandang experience na because of vaccination, their children have to be protected. Kasi together, we can make vaccination work and we can have healthier children and better future for them.
Very well said, and thank you very much once again, Yusek Kabutahe.
Maraming salamat, Doc Freddie, for this chance to explain about vaccination.
And like children, the nutritional needs of older adults should always be monitored. So how do we keep track of their health? Is taking vitamins enough? The answer when MedTalk Health Talk returns. Who says malnutrition is only for children? Even adults who reach senior years of 60 and above can still be affected by it. That is why health and proper nutrition should always be prioritized. And to talk more about this, we have in the program from Tokugawa Global Corporation Appleton, Philippines, the chairman, engineer Morgan Say, and marketing manager, Mr. Joel Sunyas. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us, Doc.
Now, malnutrition is prevalent nowadays, even with those in their elder years. And when we talk about the elderly, we're talking about 60 and above.
Yes.
So why do you think is it more prevalent in this segment of the population?
So one of the main factors that the malnutrition occurs is due to causes that are developed during this evolution process. So when we age as humans, our taste and smell, our senses start to degrade slowly. So when you degrade these senses, your appetite, your desire to eat, all of these decrease over time. And therefore, when you have a decreased sense in all your physiological senses, you don't anymore desire to complete the nutrition that's needed, which then further complicates your situation into the malnutrition phase.
Now, Mr. Sunyas, do you think there are other symptoms aside from yung pagkawala ng lasa?
We have the loss in appetite, then the oral health and dental status. Of course, the disease and disability also affect, and the psychological factor.
Okay. Now, what do you think causes the main part of this malnourishment with the elderly?
Well, like I said, first the degradation, no? Then it's complicated by other symptoms like dysphagia, which is the difficulty to swallow your food. So then you will see that when your elderly starts developing all these symptoms, they start eating less, they start desiring less, and now they just want to, eat less, and you will notice different kinds of patterns in their changing mood swings. So sometimes in the day they feel like eating, but most of the time they don't. And most of the time they're irritable, they lack concentration, and then you will see the loss of body mass in their body. So you will continue to see a lot of signs and symptoms continuing to develop, which is related to the quality of life of these senior citizens. So when we say quality of life, it's different from the quantity, because they can extend their life even with some lacking nutrition, but the quality that they will live is not anymore the same during this phase.
Do you see any difference between the malnutrition in the elderly and the malnutrition from children?
Oh yes, because in the malnutrition for children, it's basically not the foods that they don't want to eat. Basically, they already want to eat food, but they decide to eat specific food which are unhealthy. So you're just trying to supplement them with the other nutrients they need. Unlike the senior citizens, they basically desire less of all kinds of food in general. So whether it's fruits, vegetables, or even the famous desserts, they all lose their cling to life when it comes to the nutrition.
That's right. Now, what are some of the other nutrients na kulang naman sa mga elderly?
The most important nutrients na kulang sa mga elderly ay may tinatawag tayong energy complex. The source of protein and essential amino acids na kailangan ng katawan, specifically for the seniors.
Now, when these senior citizens are malnourished, now what are they at risk of?
Basically, they're at risk of getting sick more often. So when they get sick more often, they get risk of dementia, they get risk of hospitalization, then they go through different kinds of phases of slower healing process every time they get hurt or they get wounded. So these are very dangerous symptoms, or basically possibilities that could happen when they're malnourished. That's why it's important to be able to address this malnourishment from the very start with the right supplements or milk or the right vitamin complexes that can help their bodies.
Okay. What else can we do? What else can we be able to do to supplement and to prevent the malnourishment of the elderly?
Of course, generally a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
So a healthy lifestyle comprises of course, exercise, balanced diet, the right eating, of course, trying to avoid vices like smoking and drinking. So these are very important things that they must take into account of a general healthy lifestyle.
Okay. Now, when we talk about a lot of people they're watching want to take care of their elderly, want to take care of their parents or grandparents, and when they go about, they look at certain factors when it comes to nutritional supplement and something like that. What should they look out for? Ano mga ingredients ang dapat mahanap nila sa isang nutritional package?
Supplements that will sustain the needs of our body, specifically for the seniors, mahina na yung panunaw nila, di ba? So, they need a formula, a casein protein that will give slow release of protein for them to absorb the nutrients, the correct nutrients that they need.
And I'm sure a lot of people, especially those with parents or grandparents, they want to take care of them very well. And they go out and they try to buy the best supplements for them. What should they look out for? What ingredients should be present?
Well, the best ingredients that should be present in any supplement is basically an energy complex. So if you check out Apiton Wellness 60 Plus, which is specifically designed not just as a supplement, it can actually be a complete meal replacement for seniors. Because Apiton Wellness 60 Plus was designed with an energy complex, which was designed with a casein protein for slow release of energy, not just a one-time release, just like the normal products. So basically, it's a very healthy formula that was created specifically for wellness and 60-plus seniors so that they can live a quality life after their 60s.
Thank you very much, Engineer Morgan Say and Mr. Joel Suñas, for joining us here and explaining to us how important it is to be able to prevent malnutrition, especially those 60 and above.
Yes, you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
And in another episode of Med Talk Health Talk, get to know some of the healthy tips designed for the elderly and the food supplements available to help them achieve proper nutrition. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching this episode of Med Talk Health Talk. Please join us next time as we give you more topics that help take control of your health. I'm Dr. Freddie Gomez. Thank you for watching.